luck next time.
Greet the Reaper for me.
Better luck next. I'll yield to none.
Meet your maker.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared, and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead, I became part of their story.
Well, look what the dog dug up. You're lucky they didn't notice just how thin you were under those bandages. Although, seeing someone wrapped up like that, they probably thought you had the scabbing plague. Heh? Look, laugh, but don't touch. Better keep that hood down, mind you. The living don't take kindly to seeing their future stick.
Seems as though there's a pattern in the blood. That counts. My, these smelling salts are strong stuff.
It seems as though there's a path. That can't be true.
Oh, where did I leave my...
Playing dead, are you? Probably a good idea.
Quite averse to spending time with
I don't even remember them strapping me down.
Oh, where did I leave my calipers? Where did I leave my calipers?
I don't even remember them strapping me down.
no vision, no trauma. No known associates. In fact, he seems quite averse to spending time with visitors. No lesions, no trauma. It was bled by magic. Did the murderer take him into this room? Or was he already here?
Ah, you're there. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and you'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Why? Because we're at sea, of course, and have been for several...
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too gentle. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort. A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good girl, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those Source spells of yours? See what happens.
Did the murderer take him into this room? Or was he all...
Oh, do go on. I won't hold it against you. Promise. My, aren't we a meek little lamb? Perhaps I needn't have collared you at all. Though, so let's just leave it on, shall we? Because, to answer your question, what the collar does is this. For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's.
He was bled by magic. This is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away. Yes, this is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
Ah, you're up. Yes. There. Not to... In the meantime, you'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the offices. Why?
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she paused.
My word. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good girl, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Oh, do go. My, aren't we? So let's just for your own... Oh, my, these smelling salts are strong stuff.
Lesions, no
Off to the herd, little sheep. Away you go.
Good gods! There's been a murder here.
What a well of knowledge this tome is. Dallas is such
Ugly
a
sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. Two things scare. We'll find out who did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless...
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could do that, it looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the rest, well, listen. I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Not in here, it isn't. You let me know if you hear anything. Whoever... No marks, no indications of a struggle. So, anything interesting for me? I'll take that as a no. But who?
You're...
Did the murderer take him into this room?
There. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, in the meantime, you'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarter. Why?
Index
My word. Oh well, a new life awaits. And why for my...
currents of
You better stop before you hurt yourself. Oh, there you have it, see? The collar's function. It's for your own peace of mind, of course.
Good gods! There's been a murder here.
No trauma. He was ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalk can follow. Finn didn't see it like that. We'll find out who did this.
She looks up at you with a...
I was on duty in your... You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. I thought as much. Listen, bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks. I just want to catch whoever did this. So, anything interesting for me? Right. No lesions, no trauma. He was bled by magic. It seems as though there's a pattern in the blood flow. That can't be natural.
need to write to headquarters right away.
That's enough now.
It was one of them. I know it. They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them. I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on. One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one. Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up? You think me mad? Mad? Insufferable, surely. What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Ah, there you are, wife. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not-at-all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly, deathly allergical. Why, I never. I left my good pals at home, or I'd be clutching them with all my dainty... Say as you will, wife. Madame Josephine Gribbles to Peep won't be treated so.
The children break out into giggles.
What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from...
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and get, and maybe I'll sing you...
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You'd presume right. Nope. Trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel... As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles.
Good luck, Chief.
Can we just skip to the part where I
You look a little bit elfish. Maybe your daddy was an elf. My daddy's name is...
mad?
I'm here because I'm magic. Are you here because you're weird?
What are you trying to
Do you know Losa? She's a really good singer. I'm better though. Listen. La 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 la.
Name? Well, you aren't here on my list. Scrammy. Like I said, you aren't on the list.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every... He reaches out and examines your bandages, rubbing them between his fingers.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
Ah, yes. The niceties. My name is Fane. I am a scholar from... Well, it is pleasurable to meet you. Hardly. I've been reading this one for several minutes and I have yet to find a single... It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale, and tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Oh, please. I have no interest in... No. I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about you. This text tells me that they created all creatures. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind? Of course you don't have any useful information. Now please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book or respond to your questions.
Here's the register, ma'am. Good, good. Magister Williams has just about done with the You faring okay so far?
He tugs the collar of his uniform and chuckles.
I'm sorry you're upset, ma'am, but we all wear what we wear for a reason. You head on in now. Williams will...
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Big.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Mest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
Did you see the body? They ought to let you taste a bit. Maybe you'd find out who done it.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but...
Listen up, Ghetto. You hear that?
You'd end up a prison guard, Big.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Mest.
The ship, of course.
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around...
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom...
And?
We'll hand you right over the side of this ship with it.
The fellow cocks his ear, listening.
That isn't anger, it's...
He cocks his ear to the other side.
Anticipation. She senses something. I'd hold on to my... That's all you hear, though. Listen close.
That right?
There now, just like that.
Turn out rotten, Ben Mest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine.
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There, you heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, Ghetto. Good news. It's the wheel, don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means, burn my beard. That means, if we've been travelling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy. Captain, actually. And that figure tells me we're getting close.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling.
That'll be all, thank you kindly, Ghetto.
Closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, got this wolf on a leash.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lips, and...
We'll hand you right over the side of this ship with it.
Sing us a song. I know you can. I forgot how to sing. I did.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale...
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
There's some discoloration, as well as a rather disconcerting lack of tongue and gums, but I've seen worse. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if we keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
And of course, a cook who can't taste is about as useful as a dog in a chess game. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor? Mad. Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep... Yes, I can tell from your vagabond chic. A bag is as good as a shirt kind of stuff. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right?
The very basics, then, I suppose. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. Let's evaluate, shall we? As per your own testimony, you can groom, but you have the taste buds of a dung beetle and the fashion sense of a monkey in a clown suit. That won't do at all, see? I'm sad to say I must deny you the opportunity to be my slave. Ever so sorry.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle You should probably come to terms with the fact that you've half a mind, full stop. You'll never attain the... Still. Hone your skills, and one day you may just qualify for a position in a lesser household than mine.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this...
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all...
Unacceptable.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry, cackling...
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
She shakes her head.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice, deciding fates. Don't worry, honey. It isn't your...
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a...
Never say never, though.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest.
She eyes you suspiciously.
Not the future, no. But I can read the past in flesh. Just like you. And I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
She looks at you in surprise when you bare an arm of bone.
My. Guess I'll have to find out the memory from...
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers, watching, staring at them. You were thinking of flesh. Or, to be rather more precise, the pleasures of the flesh. Those that have eluded you for so long. Of course it is. The truth's right there, skin deep, so to speak. But don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with... I don't lick and...
The woman keeps rolling her dice. She
You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him. Noticing you, he straightens and beckons.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this tramp if...
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again. He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck.
Pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander, many...
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion. But Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from... no. The dead man. Finn, is it? I'd no business with him. And
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's staring back at...
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. The Joy. I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there, since Bishop Alex... Wonder if we'll get to meet the Ringmaster himself. Not eager to bow before the great Bishop Alexander, son of the Divine himself. My sentiments exactly. But Vic here will blow a blood vessel if he...
What are you conspiring about over there? You!
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet.
Name!
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something illegible down in a tiny notebook. He scowls at you as he stows the notebook back in his voluminous robes.
Away with you, at once.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips, as he leans back.
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
Kid, you been down by the room up the hall?
No.
You sure about that?
So, anything interesting for me?
My, these smelling salts are strong stuff.
Forget it.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
One of us wouldn't kill our own.
They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up? Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Please, please. A no doesn't become a yes over time.
Keep those bolts trained on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
You seem on edge, officer. I don't know
Stop
if
you
there's
trying to prison, and if she heard her most foul.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Top door's barricaded. No way through for now.
All about it.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale.
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
What happened? Must have been the turnips. You dare...
The lizard's eyes close as he slips into unconsciousness. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You can't see if he's living or dead. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. You shake the lizard by the shoulder. Ifan lies motionless, curled on the ground like an animal. Under his shaggy hair, you can see green eyes fluttering as if in a nightmare. A low whine escapes his eyes flicker open, but he doesn't...
Lucien.
Ifan cries out, then his eyes fall closed again.
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
It's no use. Your words do not...
The dice roll darkly. They're rolling for me.
The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide open, like those of a corpse. Dark, grey...
No.
As the dead man's flesh slides down your throat, you feel his consciousness enter yours. His memories are yours to experience. Your heart is heavy. You know too much. It's all too much. You met... A bright light blinds you, then fades. You feel a tremendous power in your hands, but they are shaking so hard you can barely use. Suddenly you're on this very ship, crouched in a corner, hugging your knees. A figure approaches, an older woman. Her eyes are kind. She reaches a hand toward... The memories end. You are no longer Finn. Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking...
Hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
Jump log before this thing snaps into splinters. Damn! That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards.
Thank the gods. By divine grace, who was that howling?
He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches a hand towards his
Another sorcerer! Like you don't know? Mutiny! Did that witch fix your collar too? Your lies and...
And you thought Rivellon was flat.
God damn it! Need to get off this wreck, and quick!
Pass through the door and are suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular, and the skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia, muttering,
No! What damn fools record knowledge on a pulp? It catches fire, it turns into must when wet.
The skeleton looks up and notices you.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book.
Yes, indeed. It's the look. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Please, I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed a mask that was stolen by that damned witch. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands. Indeed, just as sensible as getting off a sinking ship and leaving a fellow to his business. I would say good day, but it seems quite likely that you're about to...
The skeleton shrugs casually and returns to his...
Something's pounding on the hull!
The marking on the door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You recognize the symbol immediately. You press your palm against the door to open it. Your fingers clack against the wood, and you suddenly feel grey. The touch leaves you numb. You touch the door, it doesn't budge. The door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your mind.